Ramblings of a Music Teacher, Episode 17, The Obsessive Nature of a Musician. Following on from last week's episode about the personality of a musician, where we discovered that a large majority of you who took my poll were introverts. This week, I want to look at the obsessive nature of musicians. By the way, if you haven't taken the poll yet, you can do so by clicking the suggested video card above. In the survey, only 20% of you said that you were not obsessive at all, 50% being mildly obsessive, and 30% very obsessive. I believe that this goes along with being an introvert, and also some of the other questions in the survey. For example, most of you said that you were single-minded rather than easily distracted. This would be a trait of an obsessive person. A similar proportion of you describe yourselves as organised. Are these results surprising? Not really. First of all, musicians need to devote large amounts of time to practice. This activity in itself requires a somewhat obsessive nature. They need to be very strict with themselves to stick to a schedule, ignoring distractions. Added to this, musicians exist in an environment of pressure to perform well. Concerts and exams, for example, can create a competitive characteristic within us. Do you, for example, compare yourself with other musicians in a competitive way, trying to be better than your peers? Be honest and let me know in the poll card above if this describes you. However, here comes a word of warning. Being overly obsessive can lead us to practice an instrument to a point where doing so will cause physical injury. The famous violinist Itzhak Perlman recommends practicing no more than 3 hours a day. There will be a link to a video on his advice for practicing at the end of this video. In fact, researchers have found that setting goals to outperform others seems to undermine musical performance. There is also a danger that we can engage in this activity to a point where health deteriorates, relationships are strained, and finances can suffer. Now, I'm not advocating that a musician should not have a structured approach to practice, but maybe a more healthy way would be always try to be better than yourself rather than better than others. Additionally, as musicians, I believe we will be better in what we do if we have a life outside of music. A person who is passionate about life will be more passionate when they perform. Conversely, a student whose life is only about music can end up being very mechanical in their playing. For this reason, there is a link to my personal YouTube channel on the bottom of the MusicOnline UK channel homepage. Feel free to check it out by clicking the suggested link card above. For example, I love walking with my dog, going to the gym and watching Formula 1. What do you do outside of music to enrich your life? You can let me know in the comments below, because here on this channel, I feel that I have a kind of relationship with my subscribers, especially those of you who leave comments. But this only goes as far as our common interest in music. Who are we as people outside of music? And does enriching our lives outside of music make us better musicians? As always, thanks for listening and tune in next week for more ramblings of a music teacher.